Welcome back to Midnight Signal AI. Today is June 24th, 2026, and the AI world just got a little more crowded in your Slack workspace.
Big moves from Anthropic, OpenAI, and Meta today, spanning everything from persistent AI teammates to quantum-safe security deadlines and some fresh twists in the AI marketing wars. Let's get into it.
Let's kick off with the headline everyone in enterprise collaboration is buzzing about. Anthropic just launched Claude Tag, a persistent AI teammate for Slack that aims to transform how teams work and communicate.
This is a major escalation in the AI for work arms race. Instead of a chatbot you summon for Q&A, Claude Tag actually lives in your Slack as a persistent coworker, learning from ongoing conversations, keeping tabs on projects, and stepping in proactively. It's much more than the old Claude Slack app, which mostly handled one-off queries. Now you get an agent that remembers context, drafts responses, manages knowledge, and coordinates workflows. If Anthropic pulls this off, it could be the most deeply embedded AI teammate yet, putting the pressure squarely on Microsoft Copilot, Slack GPT, and other enterprise rivals.
Exactly. And what's striking is how Anthropic is pitching Tag, not just as a productivity tool, but as an autonomous learning member of your team. That raises real questions about privacy, org culture, and trust. If Tag can truly monitor, learn, and act on behalf of a team, it could save hours of tedious work, but also reshape how people interact with both their data and each other.
And it's only available for Anthropic's team and enterprise plans, so this is clearly targeting the high-end SaaS market. The strategic play here is sticky adoption. Once companies get accustomed to a persistent AI teammate, it'll be tough to go back, but they'll need to earn user trust and prove Tag can handle real, messy team dynamics.
Let's stay with the P1 headlines. OpenAI just released GPT 5.5 Cyber, a purpose-built version of its flagship model for cybersecurity, claiming full automation for vulnerability detection and patching. This moves LLMs deeper into real-world infrastructure defense.
OpenAI is all in on becoming the backbone of digital defense. With GPT 5.5 Cyber, they're not just handing analysts a smarter search box, they're promising end-to-end automation for finding and fixing vulnerabilities, including in open-source code. The Patch the Planet campaign is also notable. It's a direct attempt to secure the wider open-source ecosystem, which is often the weakest link in organizational security. This kind of automation could be a game changer for overwhelmed security teams. But the risks are real, especially if the AI misses a subtle bug or attackers start targeting the models themselves.
And the fact that OpenAI is integrating this into the Daybreak initiative, framing it as a public good for the global software supply chain, signals they're thinking well beyond commercial customers. The real test will be how reliably these LLMs can hold up under live-fire conditions, false positives, edge case exploits, and the sheer complexity of patch management.
Also, it's a shot across the bow at Microsoft, Google, and anyone else trying to own the AI security stack. We're seeing the start of an arms race for who can become the default trusted AI partner on the world's most sensitive systems.
Switching gears, but sticking with OpenAI, the company is pulling out all the stops in its run-up to a potential IPO, and the latest move is targeting global marketers with ChatGPT-powered ads at the Cannes Lions Festival.
This is OpenAI making a statement, not just a technical leader, but a full-fledged platform for brands and advertisers. By demoing ChatGPT ad tools at Cannes, they're putting themselves in front of the world's top marketers, agencies, and C-suite decision-makers, exactly the audience you want if you're about to go public. It's also a sign they're serious about breaking into the ad tech duopoly of Google and Meta, offering AI-driven creative tools and campaign automation. But it's a crowded field, and questions remain about brand safety, data usage, and actual ROI.
On the policy front, the White House just moved up the deadline for U.S. agencies and critical organizations to adopt quantum-resistant cryptography, making post-quantum security urgent for anyone handling sensitive data.
This is a pretty big deal. The previous consensus was that quantum attacks were a decade away, but new research suggests they could be much closer. So the US is effectively sounding the alarm. Everyone in critical infrastructure, banking, and government needs to move to quantum-safe crypto by 2030. That's 5 years sooner than many expected. It'll mean a scramble for vendors, compliance teams, and anyone maintaining legacy systems, plus a new wave of business for companies specializing in post-quantum security.
Back to the big players. Mark Zuckerberg is now openly talking about Meta's glasses, and he says they'll only succeed if they're as stylish as they are smart.
This is a classic Zuckerberg move. He's learned from the failure of Google Glass and even Meta's own Ray-Ban stories. AI glasses won't go mainstream just on technical merit. They have to be stylish, comfortable, and compatible with everyday life. The bigger story is that big tech is betting on wearables as the next big interface for AI assistants, but the path to mass adoption is littered with failed hardware experiments. The fashion angle could be the deciding factor.
A quick look at OpenAI's moves on the standards front. They're teaming up with the Appia Foundation to build frameworks for advanced AI evaluation, safety, and global cooperation.
This is about credibility. OpenAI knows that as models get more powerful, the risks and the regulatory scrutiny both go up. By backing open standards and global frameworks, they hope to build trust with governments, enterprises, and the public. But it's a double-edged sword. Too much fragmentation or standards set only by the biggest labs could actually slow innovation or lock out smaller players. The governance race is on.
One more OpenAI story before I move on. Travel tech company Omio is now using OpenAI to build AI-native conversational experiences and speed up their product development cycles.
This is a great example of how LLMs are quietly transforming not just how we search for travel, but how products get built behind the scenes. Omio's bet is that conversational AI will let them move faster and deliver more personalized experiences. If they succeed, expect every travel brand to follow suit and legacy firms to feel the pressure.
And finally, from the world of AI and higher education, the BBC is out with a story questioning whether AI will help or hurt the traditional pipeline to top schools like Stanford.
It's a fascinating and loaded question. On one hand, AI-guided admissions tools could help surface talent from non-traditional backgrounds. On the other, it risks amplifying inequality if only some students can afford or access the best AI coaching. The arms race in AI-driven college prep is just getting started, and the ripple effects could reshape the entire education system.
Before we wrap, a quick programming note. As we reported in our June 23rd episode, OpenAI's Getty Images deal, Samsung's massive ChatGPT rollout, and the Patch the Planet campaign are all now in full swing, with additional details still emerging. If you missed those breakdowns, check our recent archive for the deep dives. Switching to the robotics world, this one is all about hands, which sounds simple until you remember how insanely complex a human hand actually is. MIT researchers are using ultrasound imaging at the wrist to capture what our tendons and muscles are doing under the skin, then turning that into a control signal a robot hand can learn from. It's a clever workaround for one of robotics' oldest problems. We can build metal fingers, but we still struggle to make them move with human-level nuance.
That's the part that really changes the story. If the robot is learning from the body's own hidden motion, it's not just copying a gesture, it's learning intent. That could make a huge difference in prosthetics, teleoperation, even any future robot that has to handle fragile objects without wrecking them.
Exactly. And once you can decode fine-grained motion like that, you start opening doors beyond the lab demo. Think safer assistive robots, more intuitive human-machine interfaces, and dexterous systems that can actually adapt when the task changes. In robotics, hands are where ambition becomes reality. On the medical front, this is a strong example of AI moving from paperwork and summarization into actual scientific reasoning. GPT-5 Pro helped immunologist Daria Unitmaz revisit a 3-year-old puzzle about T-cell behavior, and the result was useful enough to generate a real research lead. That matters because immunology is one of those fields where the variables pile up fast, and getting to a testable idea can take forever.
And if AI can shorten that path even a little, the ripple effect is huge. Cancer research, autoimmune disease, maybe even better ways to understand why some patients respond and others don't. The tool doesn't need to be perfect to be valuable. It just has to help scientists ask better questions.
Right, and the best case scenario is a tighter loop between hypothesis and experiment. That's where medical AI gets real traction, not replacing judgment but speeding up the part of research that usually drags. For a field built on slow, careful discovery, that can be a real accelerant. Over in the Silicon world, Coherent expanding its Texas AI semiconductor fab is a reminder that the AI race isn't just happening in model labs. It's also happening in factories, clean rooms, and supply chains. NVIDIA may grab the headlines, but the ecosystem around AI chips is just as important, because every new wave of compute needs the parts to be built somewhere, at scale.
And the location tells its own story. Texas keeps becoming this giant manufacturing gravity well for advanced hardware. If you're trying to meet demand in AI, proximity to power, land, and industrial capacity suddenly matters a lot more than it used to.
Exactly. These fab moves are the backbone of the whole system. More capacity can mean fewer bottlenecks for specialized components, better resilience in the supply chain, and a stronger domestic manufacturing base. It's not flashy, but it's the kind of move that quietly shapes the next few years of AI growth. And to end on a lighter note, Kylie Jenner stepping into a new fashion move is exactly the kind of glossy, slightly unpredictable pop culture twist that keeps the internet fed. She's already a brand, so whenever she changes lanes, people instantly want to know whether it's a style play, a business expansion, or both.
Honestly, it's the perfect reminder that in 2026, a career move can be part business strategy, part personal mythology. Also, if anyone can make a new fashion chapter trend before breakfast, it's probably Kylie. Across today's stories, a few things stand out. First, the race to embed AI as a true digital coworker is accelerating. Anthropic's Claude Tag might finally make the persistent agent real for everyday teams. Second, OpenAI isn't just shipping models, it's pushing into verticals from cybersecurity to marketing, aiming to become a foundational layer for both enterprise and consumer AI. And policy is moving fast, from quantum-safe crypto deadlines to global standards. The guardrails and infrastructure for AI's next act are crystallizing. The next year could define how and by whom AI is woven into the fabric of work, security, and society.
Stay sharp. Keep testing those new agents, and don't forget to check the privacy settings on your AI teammates. That's the brief. We'll be back when the machines have more to say.